Good morning or afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the AZ Sports Zone on the IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Alden K. So today for episode 25, we'll start off with Arizona State losing 39-31 against Texas. We'll talk a little bit about the whole game and the controversial missed call. We will definitely get to that. And we'll talk about Sam Leavitt announcing his return to ASU for next season. We'll talk about the Cardinals losing 13-9 to the Rams on Saturday primetime. We'll talk a little bit about Kyler Murray, if the Cardinals are going to trade him, and we'll talk about the Cardinals and Niners as we wrap up the NFL season this Sunday, and then we'll move on to the Suns. Suns are no longer trading Nurkic. Don't know why, but we'll talk about that. And then we'll have a discussion. Should the Phoenix Suns blow up their team after having a rough start? They are currently 15-17 on the season. Lastly, we'll pull it off with the Diamondbacks. We'll talk a little bit about this upcoming team as we get closer to opening day. And we'll talk about Mike Hazen, if he will pull off another shocking move. We'll talk about that here on episode 25 on the AZ Sports Zone on the IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is. You guys are just now tuning in. Welcome to the AZ Sports Zone on the IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Of course, I'm your host, Alden K. Man, 25 episodes already, guys, and this is the first 2025 AZ Sports Zone episode. So let's see what 2025 has in store for not just my show, but everybody here on the IU Sports Radio. We keep on growing. And speaking of IU Sports Radio, guys, IU Sports Radio has been around for 10 years. Make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel where we are growing very fast. Check out our custom pages too. And in case you guys miss any of our shows, you can catch them on anything you see on the ticker right here. Spreaker, Spotify, we have it for you in case you miss anything. We have it covered. But by the way, guys, hope you guys had a very good New Year. Man, I just feel like I'm getting old, man. It's 2025 already. And guys, make sure to follow the Twitter or the X account that I run, AZ Sports Zone IE, where I pretty much just retweet a bunch of Arizona news. Sometimes I'll give my opinion on some news, not just with Arizona. Sometimes I'll give my own thoughts on, what's going on with other teams if my team is, affiliated with it. Pretty much just, if you need the latest news on Arizona sports, this account right here, I'll pretty much keep everyone updated. But with that being said, guys, you guys know the drill. Before we get into the first segment, we're going to hear a quick word from two of our sponsors, Planet Jerky, and of course, Vital Apparel, our newest sponsor. And when we come back, we'll talk about, of course, Arizona State losing 39-31 against Texas. Not a good way to start off 2025 in Arizona sports. We will talk about that. We'll talk about the whole game, and we will talk about the controversial missed call. So we will start it off strong with ASU getting eliminated from the college football playoffs. But once again, we'll go into a quick break here, word from our sponsors. Once again, on the AZ Sports Zone, on the IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that sports, of course. I'm your host, Alden K. If you guys are just now tuning in, just heard a quick word from our sponsors. Once again, shout out to Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, and Vital Apparel. All right, so got the whole intro. You guys know what we're about to talk about. Man, I am still hurt from this loss. It just sucks, especially the way we got eliminated. It just sucks. I mean, I'll say this though. This was a very good game. It was a great game. ASU did what I had hoped they would do, which was put up a good fight, right? I thought ASU was going to go into Atlanta. I thought Texas was going to obliterate them because they had the experience. You know, they're an SEC team. ASU is an upcoming team, a team that didn't have the experience of the college football playoffs. I mean, Texas is coming off of a playoff year last season in the 4 seeding bracket. We're in this new bracket. A lot of people didn't think we deserved a first round bye. You know, guys like myself thought that, or I was surprised we got a first round bye. I thought we were going to have to play in the first round. But we had a first round bye. We were all watching Texas Clemson. We ended up getting Texas. And if you guys saw my episode last week, Taryn and I predicted that Texas was going to beat ASU, which they did. And I did not think it would be a 1-score game. And at the beginning of the game, it looked like that was going to be the case, right? It looked like Texas was going to demolish us. It was, you know, we took a lead at the beginning on the opening drive. It was 3-0. And literally 2 plays later, Texas scored a touchdown. And then they got a kickoff return for a touchdown, made it 14-3. You know, they got a field goal later, made it 17-3. That was the halftime score. And it was 24-8 at one point. Here comes the fourth quarter. There's like a small chance of us coming back. Cam Scannabo had a rough first half. And then he came back and completely delivered. Sam Levitt, he had a pretty good game. The pressure, you could definitely tell the pressure got to him a little bit, especially at the beginning of the game. You know, obviously we all knew Texas defense. They were averaging the fewest amount of points given up in college football this year. And, you know, Sam Levitt, he's a freshman quarterback. You know, obviously that was going to be a factor in this game. And the pressure did get to him a little bit. We saw him run quite a bit in this game. Some of them were good. Some of them were not. But he handled the pressure pretty good. I'll give him credit where credit's due. Yeah, I really did not think that with, you know, everything that, you know, ASU was predicted coming into this game, that it would be a close game. I'm surprised that they were able to put up this good of a fight. You can make a case that this was the best game of college football this season. It was a really good game. It was going back and forth that entire fourth quarter and in overtime. And, you know, it ultimately just ended on whichever team made the first mistake, and that was us. So, And when we scored the touchdown in overtime, I thought that was it. I thought we were actually going to win. Here comes 4th and 13. If we get one stop, we win the whole thing. And we move on to play Ohio State next week. And I knew before the play was even snapped that it was going to be a bad play. Reason for that was because they were blitzing on 4th and 13. And I get it. Quinn Ewers is that type of quarterback where he's had a rough season. Well, at least for the hype that he was getting and for the team that he's on, he was having a rough season. He was kind of having a bumpy year, I guess, or let me rephrase that. And I understand the play call. You want to blitz Quinn Ewers, put the pressure on him. He hasn't dealt with pressure that well this year. Go right ahead. But for you to do that with the game on the line and overtime, when you're one play away from advancing to the Final Four, you're asking to give up a touchdown at that point. You're asking to lose the game. And that was the worst way to go out. I'll talk about the controversial call that I'm still kind of upset about here in a little bit, but despite that targeting call that was missed before overtime, this team had chances. They had chances to win the game. Not just before the targeting call was missed, but after. Before the targeting call was missed, they were in the red zone 3 times. 3 times they were in the red zone. And 2 times they were turnover on downs. 1 time was for a field goal. The other 2 times, it was like 4th and 2, 4th and 1 or whatever, and Cam Scattaboo gets stuffed at the goal at the line of scrimmage. So this team had chances, and in overtime they had chances. If you get that stop on 4th and 13, you advance. Hell, if you play man coverage on the second overtime, you advance probably. They scored on the first play in second overtime. And then Sam Levitt throws a pick and Texas wins. Texas did, and listen, I don't care if I hurt anyone's feelings. Texas did not deserve to win this game. They did not deserve to win this game at all. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe it's just my fandom kicking in. But ASU deserved this win more than Texas did. Texas did not play a good game. They had a good first half, maybe third quarter. Based on the way they played in that fourth quarter and in overtime, they did not deserve to win this game. Just being honest, and I'm sure a lot of Texas fans know that too. They got lucky in this game. So let me get to the chat before I move on. Arku, don't bring up the Suns. Well, unfortunately, I have to. What's up, Chad? Texas did not play their best game. Not really. Crazy Juice, what's up? ASU performed better than other teams who didn't play in the first round. Yeah. And people are still going to say that ASU didn't deserve to be in this position when they probably played the best game out of everybody in college football this year. Yeah, all the teams that had a first round bye lost. I get it. Georgia didn't have Carson Beck. Oregon, I don't know what the heck happened with Oregon. That was surprising. I mean, Ohio State is a really good team. I understand Ohio State fans don't like Ryan Day, this and that, but hey, they got the job done. So, but regardless of that, Texas, GG, good game. You did your part. We did our part, even though we didn't win. We still did our part. I thought we were going to come in this game and get annihilated. But and at the beginning, it looked like we were going to get annihilated. But our team didn't give up. This was still a really good season. This was still a very, very good season. ASU football is back. We'll be back next season for sure. We'll probably be back in this position next year for sure if everything goes according to plan. Kenny Dillingham, he's on a 5-year extension now. He's going to be back. We're going to be in good hands next year. At least that's what I hope. This is expectations that I have. It all just depends on how they respond. Overall, this was a really good season, though, and this is probably the only good Arizona team that we have right now, other than maybe the Diamondbacks, but we'll see about them this year. So let's talk about the missed call. I won't be on this topic for that long because, it's just one call. It's one play. But you guys all know the controversial missed call that I'm going to be talking about here. On third down, it was a tie game. ASU had the ball last in regulation in the fourth quarter. They're trying to move the ball down to kick a field goal or a touchdown, whatever they were going to get, and win the game. Because before that, Texas, their kicker had missed the field goal to take the lead by 3 with a minute left. So ASU had a good opportunity, and they should have capitalized on that opportunity. I mean, there were guys like Gene Steratore. Even the commentators were saying that call was targeting. It's helmet to helmet. If it's helmet to helmet, if the receiver is defenseless, if they don't know what's about to happen to them, if they can't see where the defender's at, if they're trying to focus on catching the ball first, it's targeting. I don't know how you missed that call. I'm not going to sit here and go on a rant about it because, I've had the time to calm down a little bit. But this, don't let my emotion fool you. I may sound calm right now. This loss hurts. This loss really sucks. Like, I would have preferred it if we had gotten blown out. Because the way we lost the other day, it sucks. Like, at least if we had gotten blown out, I would have been like, all right, it's just what I predicted. ASU will be back next year. Good game, Texas. Good luck against Ohio State. I would have been like that. But the way we lost, it hurts even more. I mean, I'm glad we put up a really good fight. I'm glad we made it a one-possession game and we took an SEC team to 2 overtimes. That is something nobody, maybe even ASU fans, thought was going to happen in this game. But still, regardless of that, with the way we lost on Wednesday, terrible start to 2025 for Arizona sports. It hurts. It sucks, especially with the year we had when no one thought we would get this far to go out like that. It just sucks. There's no other way to put it. Well, I'll talk about a little bit about their schedule maybe in the next episode, because the schedule is out for next year. We have some teams that we're used to playing, like Texas Tech, U of A, obviously. We're taking on Baylor next year, Utah, TCU, teams like that. So I'll talk about their schedule a little bit, maybe in the next episode. But today's episode is just about the Texas game, and yeah, it just sucks to go out like that. So regardless of that, huge improvement compared to last year. We went from last to first in our first year in the Big 12. We won the conference. We beat Iowa State to get to where we are today. What's up, Taryn? I hope you have a great show later as well. Obviously it sucks to go out like this. Even if we had won, we'd be playing Ohio State in the next game. It would have been nice to see that opportunity. But then again, even with the missed call, we had our chances to win this game. So I get it. The missed call, if they had made that targeting call, we probably would have won. I get it. But even in overtime and even before the missed call, we still had chances to win the game. It's every given opportunity, and at the end of the day, Texas came out with it. So we have to live by that. I'm assuming Ohio State's going to beat Texas in the next game anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, tough loss for ASU though. Amazing season. We'll be back next year for sure. We're going to get so many transfers. We already had a lot of transfers before this game. We'll see what happens in these last 5 days, which brings me to my next topic. Sam Leavitt has announced he is returning to ASU for next season. I mean, I wasn't worried about this. His parents did come out and say he wants to spend at least 3 years at ASU. So they were telling the truth, at least for year 2. He had a really good freshman year. He got the playoff experience in his freshman year. So he has the experience wrapped up under his belt. Now it's all about getting back there with ASU and repeating it. Obviously, we're not going to be where we're going to have we're going to be without Cam Scatabo now. He is going to the NFL now, so best of luck to him. He deserves the opportunity wherever he goes, and whichever team gets him, they're going to have a hell of a backfield for years to come. Cardinals, we are a run first team, so James Conner and Cam Scatabo would be very nice. So go do that. It probably won't happen, but it would be nice. But we are getting our QB1 back for next season. There was a rumor that Oregon offered millions of dollars to get Sam Leavitt. It's not confirmed. It was just a rumor, but even then, Sam Leavitt is an Oregon native. Penny Dillingham, actually, when he was the offensive coordinator at Oregon, was interested in Sam Leavitt, but Dan Lanning did not want him. So they ended up getting Dylan Gabriel, and Sam Leavitt eventually came to ASU. Kenny Dillingham came to ASU as well, and that's that. The rest is history. So Oregon was interested in Sam Leavitt. Honestly, even if it isn't confirmed, it would have been an interesting topic if Sam Leavitt wanted to go back to his home and play at Oregon. I mean, he probably would have had at least for now, he would have had the better team there. But he's staying at ASU for at least next season. So very big move there. We don't have to worry about, our quarterback situation now. But it still sucks that we're losing Cam Scatabo, but hey, he deserves to be in the NFL. He's going to get a really good opportunity with whatever team drafts him. So we'll see where he ends up. I'll definitely be hopefully rooting for the Cardinals to get him. They probably won't, but let me celebrate, I guess. Yeah, chances that they have at getting him. But overall, shout out to Arizona State football. Arizona State football is back. They did their thing this year when no one thought they would. Overall, a very good season. Like I said, I'll talk about their schedule in the next episode a little bit. But we have to get into even more heartbroken teams, I guess, at the moment. Let's go ahead and twist the dagger in my heart as we go into a quick break and talk about the Arizona Cardinals. They lost to the Rams on Saturday night on the primetime game. And we'll talk a little bit about Kyler Murray as the rumors are heating up that the Cardinals, would they be willing to trade him? And then we'll talk about the Niners and Cardinals, of course, as we wrap up the NFL season and head into the playoffs, which the Cardinals will not be in. So it is what it is. So with that being said, we'll go into a quick break, hear a word from our other sponsors, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, and of course, we'll hear a word from Larry B in the IE Sports Radio on the AZ Sports Zone. What is that, guys? Your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on the iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you guys are just now tuning in, we just covered Arizona State University football and their brutal loss against the Texas Longhorns, 39-31. And of course, once again, shout out to our sponsors, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. And of course, shout out to the IE Sports Radio guys. Once again, this is the first 2025 show on the AZ Sports Zone. So I really can't wait for the future shows that we have for 2025. It's going to be amazing. By the way, guys, make sure to check out everyone else's shows. We have a bunch of shows today after mine, and of course, any other day of the week. So make sure to check them out if you can. Just show them your support because it would mean a lot. But with that being said, let's get into the Cardinals. All right, like I said before we went to the break, let's twist the dagger a little bit. Cardinals lose 13-9 to the Rams at SoFi Stadium. Obviously, this game doesn't really annoy us Cardinals fans as much. I mean, like I said, these last two games were they're only playing it just to play at this point, just to play football. We're already out of the playoffs. These last two games are against division rivals. We don't have as much to play for. The Rams did have a lot to play for. So I did not think it would be a low-scoring game, though. I thought it would at least be a little bit higher. But it was a competitive defensive game, and defense is what ended this game too. It just the offense. Like I remember at the beginning of the season when we all thought the defense was going to be the biggest issue of the team. I mean, they were ranked almost dead last in defense the year before. We were losing guys on defense, and we were also getting guys on defense too. We brought in Mac Wilson. We still had Kaiser White. We re-signed Zaven Collins. We extended Buda Baker, so we don't have to worry about him leaving next season. Just all of that. So the defense, at least ever since I keep talking about that Monday night game against the Chargers, because that's when it really started off, the defense. Ever since that, the defense has been the best part of this team. Not so the pass rush or the run defense specifically. It's just being able to get stops on third down, holding teams in the red zone. They've been able to do that for these last 10, 11 or so weeks. So I know the season isn't what we had hoped it would be for, even though we have improved a lot this season as far as wins go, as far as the defense, who was by far the weakest link of our team last year. Now it's a complete 180. The offense is the issue. They cannot do anything. I'm well aware. Listen, the Rams came in this game on a 4-game win streak. They were a red hot team. They were fighting for the division, and they got it. So the Rams are going to be in the playoffs representing the NFC West. They are the winners of the division, and we did split with the Rams this season. So for once, we did not get swept by them, which, I mean, hey, that's baby steps, I guess, because Sean McVay always likes sweeping the Cardinals. So overall, though, this game was, it was a good competitive game, like I would expect any other division game to be. The ending of this game was kind of crazy. We all thought the Cardinals had a chance to win the game. which they did. They had a fair chance of winning the game, but what happened? A glorious, lucky interception came the way for the LA Rams. Part of me still doesn't believe that the defender got the catch because the ball did hit the ground, and it's kind of hard to tell if the defender had complete possession of the ball in his hands before it hit the ground. So part of me still does not believe that he did catch that interception. I know people are going to blame Kyler Murray for that interception, but it was just a lucky bounce off of the defender, and someone in the secondary just happened to get a lucky catch. So, once again, luck played a factor for Arizona sports, I guess. Like Terrence said on my show last week, the thing he was worried about as a Rams fan was the fact that the Cardinals had nothing to play for. The Cardinals only had one thing to play for, and that was knocking out a division rival out of the playoffs, which sometimes could be a very scary factor if you're facing a team like that. But then again, had the Cardinals won this game, it would have been the Seahawks winning the division. So pick your poison, I guess. Rams or Seahawks going to the playoffs. Which team would the Cardinals like to send into the postseason? I'll let the Cardinals fans decide on who they'd rather see in the postseason. I mean, but it is what it is. Overall, though, pretty competitive game. Just like I predicted it to be. I did think it was going to be a little more high scoring. But like I said, the defense has definitely stepped up this season. I know the pass rush still isn't there. The run defense is still in question, which hopefully they can turn their attention to that in the draft. They are. I know we're not going to have as high of a spot as we normally are used to having. We're going to be picking somewhere, and this is a guarantee, by the way. We're going to be picking somewhere between 11 and 17, and it's depending on this Cardinals and Niners game this Sunday. So the highest that we can pick is 11, which surprisingly for a 7-win team right now, I am surprised that we were able to at least get close to the top 10. But hey, if we pick close to the top 10, we are still a rebuilding team. We have the 4th highest caps. Even with the re-signing of Budda Baker, we still have the 4th highest cap space in the NFL for this upcoming offseason. So that definitely helps out a lot to a certain degree. It's going to be all up on Monty Austinford on how this team rebuilds. We will see what happens. But Cardinals lose 13-9 to the Rams, and they split with the Rams this season. It's going to be interesting to see how the team responds in the offseason, building their team. Hopefully, we spend money at least. Gosh, that's why we have the top 5 highest cap space. It's because our team never spends money. They just keep on saving it. Are you going to save it if you're not going to spend it? I really don't understand it. All right. But overall, good game. Obviously, this loss isn't like the ASU loss or anything like that. This loss is like, okay, Rams, I mean, you're going to be in the playoffs, probably a second-round exit at best. It is what it is. Let's see right here. Oh, yes, that's another thing. Trey McBride finally has his first receiving touchdown of the season, and he hit 1,000 yards on the season. I can't remember if there ever has been a time where an Arizona Cardinals tight end had over 1,000 receiving yards. Like, I don't think there ever has been a time, but Trey McBride is the first one to do it. So we have our franchise tight end, another guy we have to worry about paying in the long haul, so we'll see. The Lambs better be first-round exits. Who would they be playing? Washington? Or Green Bay or something like that? I highly doubt they will be first-round exits then, but we'll see. Who do I hate more, the Rams or Yeah, LA. It's everything in LA. You guys know the drill. Crazy Juice says, if my team wasn't so bad this year, the Lambs wouldn't have sniffed the playoffs. Super Bowl hangover, Crazy Juice. That shit is real. All right. So let's get to Kyler Murray a little bit. All right. So a topic that can really if you guys know me, if you guys are sub to my personal YouTube channel, if you guys know me, I've already given up on Kyler Murray. I don't think he's going to get us to the promised land. I mean, it's been 7 years, or wait, 6 or 7 years. I think almost 6 years since he got drafted by the Cardinals, and he's gotten us to one postseason appearance. Got absolutely demolished by the Rams, ironically, who I just talked about. And since then, he has had a torn ACL. He hasn't gotten us back to the postseason yet. Next year is his last chance. Okay, he is going to be on this team next year because, I mean, come on. If you look at the draft, you look at the players that are coming out. There's not one quarterback that's better than Kyler Murray, or at least as talented, in my opinion. Shedeur Sanders, he's going to get drafted to like the Giants, right? Like even if the Cardinals wanted Shedeur Sanders in a hypothetical standpoint, they're not going to get him. Cam Ward, they're not going to get him. Quinn Ewers, are you kidding me? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, who are the Cardinals going to get to replace Kyler Murray for next year? There's not a quarterback better than Kyler, unless they trade him to another team for, you know, like a Stafford Goff type trade or something like that. They're not going to get a quarterback better than Kyler Murray. A lot of Cardinal fans that I hear from, they want Arch Manning. Well, guess what? You would have to wait another 2 years to get Arch Manning. So, do you really want to waste another 2 years with this team currently rebuilding? I don't know, get Sam Darnold as a 2-year stopgap or something like that. It's not going to work out. Kyler Murray will be on this team next year, and next year will be his last chance, or at least it should be his last chance, even though he doesn't really deserve another chance. It's been 6 years, he hasn't gotten us anywhere. So, an interesting fact about Kyler Murray is that in the midst of his 5-year contract, the $230 million contract, the Cardinals, if they were to trade Kyler Murray before June 1st in the offseason, they would save $14 million against the cap space. But at the same time, it would eat $28 million in dead money. So it would be tough trading Kyler Murray. We would save $14 million. We'd also take $28 million in the dead cap. So, like I said, you guys want Arch Manning, you're going to have to wait another 2 years of misery and hope that we actually get the number 1 pick for him. Because guess what? We're not going to get Arch Manning. We're stuck with Kyler Murray. So, let's see here. Because there were rumors about teams that are interested in Kyler Murray. Okay, so the top 3 teams that have the best odds to get Kyler Murray, I'll go from first to third. Actually, third to first. The team with the third best odds to get Kyler Murray via trade is the New York Football Giants. Number 2 is the Minnesota Vikings. And number 1 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are teams that get quarterbacks. Despite Pittsburgh doing their job this season, Russell Wilson is not the future. Minnesota, they already have J.J. McCarthy. I do not see them getting Kyler Murray unless they'd be willing to give us McCarthy in return, which I don't think that's even on the table. And the New York Giants, they do need a quarterback, but at the same time, by the looks of it, they're probably going to go draft-wise and draft a quarterback. At least that's something I think they should do, with the top 5 pick that they have right now. And that's a whole other thing, too. The draft order this offseason can really determine if a team is willing to trade with the Cardinals for Kyler Murray. If you guys look at the draft order right now, teams that do need quarterbacks, if you look at picks number 1 through 6 at least, the draft order is crazy. It's going to determine a lot for this Week 18. If teams win, if certain teams lose, it's going to determine a lot by what the draft order is going to be. Even for the Cardinals too. That's how big of the draft order. That's how close the draft order is. If the Cardinals were to win against the Niners this week, they could be picking as low as 17. But if they lose, they could be picking as high as 11. So it all just depends on who wins, who loses, and of course the Cardinals. So at least for next season, I don't see us getting rid of Kyler Murray just yet. The fact that we are improving as a rebuilding team right now, Monty Austin-Fort may go into next season with Kyler Murray just to see if we can continue improving. Because for a guy that's coming out of an ACL tear, I mean, He's top 5 in QBR rating this season after being one of the lowest last year. So do you stick with Kyler Murray for next season? I think that they will, even though personally I don't really feel like he deserves another chance. It's been 6 years as a number one overall pick, at least he's a bust. He has not lived up to number 1 overall pick expectations, at least for us. So for a number 1 overall pick, at least as of right now, he is labeled a bust. So a lot to take in, a lot to determine regarding Murray this offseason. But personally, I think he will be the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals in 2025. And, I think that as much as Cardinal fans want him gone, it is the right decision. We are improving as a team. We went from 4 wins to 7 wins, maybe 8 if we beat the Niners. I think that we will win that game. But then again, it is a division rival. And the Niners don't have a lot to play for just as much as we do. So at this point, the Niners are just playing to play the game of football, just like us. So it is what it is. I'm still going to watch the game, obviously. But if we win or lose, I mean, what's it really going to do? We're already out of the playoffs. Same thing with the Niners. Both teams have just had a complete rough season filled with injuries. It is what it is. So we'll talk about this Cardinals-Niners game for a little bit, and then we'll go into a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the Suns and Diamondbacks to close out the episode. All right, so Cardinals and Niners. Let me get to the injury report. Sean Murphy bunting for the Cardinals was limited in practice. His status is unknown. Same thing with Kelvin Beachum. His status is also unknown. Froholt, who was dealing with a personal issue, his status is unknown. Mac Wilson, linebacker with an ankle issue, his injury status is unknown. Darius Robinson still with that calf injury, unknown. Matt Prater's on here. I would assume Matt Prater probably won't play. It is what it is. Okay. For the Niners, Talanoa Hufanga with a wrist injury is unknown. Isaac Garenda with a foot injury is unknown. He was a full participant, though. Jair Brown, safety, unknown with an ankle issue. Ricky Pearsall with an illness, wide receiver, unknown. Isaac Yayadum, defensive back, unknown with the pelvis injury. Diamador Lenore, defensive back. Shoulder injury, also unknown. So we don't really know the status of these players quite yet. We probably won't know until like tomorrow or maybe even game time or something like that. George Kittle with an ankle injury, unknown. They might rest George Kittle at this point. Same thing with Deebo Samuel with a rib issue. His status is unknown. They might rest Nick Bosa as well with a knee issue. Colton McKivis, lineman knee unknown. Leonard Floyd, shoulder injury unknown. Like, I just keep going down these injuries, and the Niners have way more injuries than we do. That's the story of the Niners, I guess, at least in my time. And yeah, that's about it. So James Conner was ruled out for this game. I think that is the right decision. I think the Cardinals should honestly sit out their starters for the rest of the season. We have nothing to play for. I get it. Players like playing the game of football. They're starters for a reason. But worst case scenario, one of our important guys tears his ACL and he's out for the rest of the year in 2025, right? You might as well just sit your starters, Jonathan Gannon. See if see what the younger guys can do. I know Trey Benson, we haven't seen him a lot on the field this year. Maybe with James Conner out, we're going to see him a lot more for this game. We'll see what Trey Benson can bring. I still want Cam Scatterbo, but that's just me. Like Taylor Demerson in the secondary, see what he can do. There's a bunch of guys that you can play in replacement because, I mean, season's already over. I think the starters understand that. Paris Johnson isn't playing either. So, listen, I get it. The starters want to play. They love playing the game. It is what it is. I get it. But we're focusing on next year now. We're focusing on this offseason, who we're going to bring to this team, the draft, who are we going to take. We should be focusing on that right now. The Niners, they're doing the same thing. They're resting their starters, or at least that's what I've been hearing. They're going to rest George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel. The Niners are focusing on next year already. we should be doing the same. We're still rebuilding. Year 3 of the Monty Austin Ford and Jonathan Gannon is coming up. I mean, why play your starters? To risk an injury? Are you I mean, are you even do you really want to sweep the Niners that bad? It doesn't really mean much. So Steve-O says he picked Arizona to win. I'm gonna pick Arizona too. Is what it is. Jawan Jennings needs 77 yards for one. Sheesh, is he having that good of a year? I didn't even know that. Tommy says they're not resting anybody. Well, they should. But, you know, starters, it's the integrity of the game, right? You play your starters, I guess, unless you're clinched for the playoffs or first seed or this and that. It is what it is. And that's another thing, too. Josh Dobbs is playing. They don't even have Brock Purdy playing. So he's out with an injury, though. It's not like they're resting him or anything. He's actually out because of an injury that he suffered. So, I mean, unless you want to beat the Niners that bad, I mean, hey, go right ahead. It is a division game. It's whatever. If you're healthy, you play. Yeah, that's how it is in the NFL. If you're on the field, you're not injured. But it is what it is. I do think the Cardinals will win this game. But to a certain degree, if the Cardinals lose, it just means we get a higher draft pick. So we have clinched, if that's what you want to call it. We have clinched third place for the division, though. So we're finishing third place in the division this year. So that is so part of our schedule has come out for next season. I'll talk about the schedule for just like ASU. I'll talk about the schedule for the Cardinals next year as well. I believe the third placement games is giving us the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're playing those two teams next year because we finished third in the division. So that's how that works. We're also playing the AFC South and the NFC South next year too. So I'll talk about the schedule a little bit. Yeah, like Arku says, just play for pride at this point, right? But if one of our guys tears his ACL or is out for the rest of 2025 for the 25-26 season or something like that, it's going to be very. I'm going to come on here next Friday and get very mad about it. So that's my thoughts heading into this game. I have the Cardinals winning 27-17. I just think with the Niners playing Josh Dobbs, that alone right there. What are the Niners even trying to win this game for at this point? We'll see though. And it's kind of funny because a couple weeks ago, I thought this game was going to depend on the division. I thought we'd be playing for the division. But the Niners just went downhill. I think they were, what were they? 6-6 at one point, 6-7. They were still in contention for the division, but man, they just like us, they've hit rock bottom. So, yeah, that's what we're playing for at this point, just pride, I guess. But anyways, we're going to go into another break, guys. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns, and we'll finish it off with the Diamondbacks. So I thank you guys for tuning in so far. We have 34 people in here. Make sure to like up the stream, guys, in the episode. If you guys miss it, make sure to rewatch it later if you have a chance. But when we get back from the break, we'll talk about the Suns. No longer trading Houston Nurkic, and of course, we'll talk about the Suns. Should they blow it up, or should they keep the team that they have right now? We'll talk about that. And with the Diamondbacks, we'll talk about Mike Hazen maybe pulling off another move on the AZ Sports Zone. Once again, guys, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernick, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We just covered the Arizona Cardinals, their brutal loss against the Rams, and of course, a little quick review of the Niners game to close out the NFL season, and then it's on to the offseason for the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens. Big shout out though to Adam and Taryn. I just played their video drops, guys. Make sure to check out their shows, not just their shows, but every single show. If you have a chance to tune in, just even for 5 minutes, showing your support would mean a lot to the people running the show. We have a bunch of people here from everywhere that will give you guys some really good news on their team once a week. Make sure to check them out. But to close out this episode, let's talk about the Suns and the Diamondbacks. 2 or 3 quick topics for 2 of these teams. So it came out from I think it was Shams the other day, or a couple days ago at least, that the Suns are no longer trading Houston Nurkic, at least not as of right now. Part of me understands it because I don't think there's really a team out there that wants Houston Nurkic right now. He's playing complete terrible. And like I said last week, the Phoenix Suns offense, their rankings when Nurkic is on the court is bottom 10. But when Nurkic is off of the court, the Suns offense is ranked top 10. So when Nurkic isn't on the court, the Suns offense tends to thrive a lot better by a lot. So that stat alone should let you know not a lot of teams are probably going to want Nurkic, and it's part of me doesn't really understand it, but part of me also understands it in a way. The center market out there, I talked about, Valanciunas. A lot of Suns fans wanted Vucevic, who we can't actually trade for according to the financial rules, because the Suns are a $400 million team right now, which is the largest in the NBA. So their options as far as the trade deadline are going to be very limited. And this is just another example of it. So Nurkic is no longer in the trade market, but we'll see what happens. The Jimmy Butler rumors are still heating up. I know yesterday he officially requested a trade out of Miami. So we'll see what happens with that, as we are a month away from the trade deadline. So a lot of trades are going to go down as of this upcoming month. So we'll see what happens regarding the Suns. We know the Suns are going to make trades. They have the money to do it. Matt Ishbia is going to spend money to do it. So, we'll see what happens regarding the trade deadline for the Phoenix Suns. Let me see here. Okay. Before I get to the next topic, do you guys play the the Sixers on Monday? Yes, we do play the 76ers on Monday. We'll probably lose that game. So, yeah, there you go. All right. So, quick question. Should the Suns blow it up? Should they sell the pieces? Should they tank? Should they focus on the future? Because the present is not working right now. They're 15 and 17 right now, 2 games below 500. They are currently out of the play-in tournament. They're 11th seed with the largest money amount spending in the NBA this season at $400 million. I mean, this is something I would expect the Dodgers to go through, but hey, they actually got their cupcake. So, but unlike us, of course, they're not getting the job done. Devin Booker has fallen off of a cliff. I don't know where he's been this season. Kevin Durant, he seems to be the only good player on this team now, which at 36 years old, and he's our best player right now, it says a lot. Bradley Beal stays injured. He actually got injured the other day again. As soon as we got Booker back, we lost Beal again. So he's out again. It's just a dumpster fire. It's a disgrace. Like this Phoenix Sun. We hired Mike Budenholzer, and we got worse. Our team is worse than it was last season at this point. You know, we started 8-1 this season, and now we're 15 and 17. You can blame injuries all you want. We're losing the teams that we're supposed to beat. I don't think y'all realize. I know y'all don't realize that. Despite the injuries we're dealing with, we're out here losing the teams that we're supposed to beat the crap out of. Here, I'll look it up right now and I'll name some for you. It's going to make you sick. Take a look here. The Grizzlies. Let me read the players in that game that did not play for the Memphis Grizzlies real quick, as Arku just brought up. Ja Morant, Zach Edey. Ja Morant and Zach Edey were out, and that's not even the entire list. Those 2 players alone were out. Marcus Smart was out. And they lost to that team. With a fully healthy, with the big 3 playing, they lost to that team. Want to know who else they lost to? The Warriors. And the Warriors are pretty much in the same boat as us right now. They started off good, and now they're terrible. They lost to the Mavericks without Luka. Granted, we didn't have Booker for that game, but even with Booker, we have not been a good team so far. They beat the Nuggets on Christmas. You know, it is what it is. They lost to the Nuggets previously. So here's our upcoming schedule, right? We have the Pacers tomorrow, who are also kind of a mid-team, just like us. We play the Sixers, who started off the season terrible, but they're slowly bouncing back in a weak Eastern Conference. We got the Hornets, Hawks, Jazz, Hornets again, Hawks, Wizards, Pistons. All those teams are beatable. And then our next challenging opponent is the Cavaliers. And then you got Brooklyn, Washington, LA Clippers. Like, we're not playing teams that are that good. And we're still getting our butts kicked. Yeah, that's a fact. Jaren Jackson was by himself the other day. He was basically by himself. And him alone is all it took to beat the Suns. So I'll let you guys answer that. Should the Suns blow it up, or should they keep their current team? I personally think they have no choice but to keep their current team. That's the only choice that they really have. So I'll let you all turn that. So let's talk about the Diamondbacks to close it out. This is just a short, quick topic or whatever. So the Diamondbacks, the only professional Arizona team I'm really excited about. Can Mike Hazen pull off another surprising move? He did it recently with Corbin Burns. We were all like, I just find it funny how we were all mad at Mike Hazen for not even trying to re-sign Christian Walker and Jock Peterson. You know, both of them went to disgusting Texas teams, or excuse me. But he responded right away by trading for Josh Naylor, which is a move I didn't think we were going to make. And he responded after, and he responded with another signing with Corbin Burns. So Corbin Burns did pass his physical, so he's officially a Diamondback for at least 2 seasons. There is an opt-out after the second year. So some good after some bad, but is there another move that he can possibly make? Roki Sasaki's available. I know he's probably going to be a Dodger. You know, every Japanese player is turning into a Dodgers player these days. So, you know, there's other needs that we have, right? We still need a bullpen closer because that was our issue last year. We did not have a valid closer on our team. Paul Sewald had a rough outing this season. So we are in need of a closing pitcher, unless you want to ride it with Justin Martinez, which Justin Martinez had a very good season last year. So if you want to roll the closing starter lineup with him, then go right ahead. But it wouldn't hurt to bring in another arm, right? If Justin Martinez needs like an off day or something like that, then they should probably go ahead and trade for another bullpen arm that is valuable or worth of closing. The name I keep on hearing regarding the Diamondbacks, if they're interested in a relief pitcher, is the St. Louis Cardinals relief pitcher Ryan Helsley. So he had a 2.04 ERA last season, 79 strikeouts, so 49 saves, which led the MLB or led the National League. So the Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays are the teams that are interested in Ryan Helsley. So just some interest. It's not, a determination if we're going to get him. It would be nice to bring in an extra arm, though, especially the guy that led the National League in saves last year. We had so many blown saves last year. So many games. If we had just won one of those games or two of those games that we blew, we would have been in the playoffs last year. Like I said, pitching was our biggest issue last season. Number one offense, number one defense. We still missed the playoffs, and it was because of our pitching. We were ranked almost dead last in runs given up. Goes to show you how important pitching is in the game of baseball. So trading for another bullpen arm would definitely help the Diamondbacks, and that is something I would expect Mike Hazen to be paying attention to right now. But hey, overall, we've had a decent offseason. We replaced Christian Walker with a younger first baseman. We signed Corbin Burns in case we lose Zach Gallen. So I think in those categories, we're set. So we are close to opening day, though. We're closer to opening day. We're a few months away. We'll see what happens. But, guys, overall, thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 25 of the AZ Sports Zone. Man, it's already been 6 months since I joined the IE Sports Radio. It's been going by pretty fast, and it's been going pretty good so far, and I love it. I love what I'm doing here. Once again, big shout out to the IE Sports Radio, and, of course, Larry B. for letting me come on here. This was the first of many 2025 episodes, guys. First 2025 episode was a very good episode. Today we were able to talk about ASU in Texas, Cardinals and Niners this week. The Phoenix Suns still being trash and a complete dumpster fire. And, of course, we closed it out with the Diamondbacks. Will they make another move? We will find out. We will talk about the Cardinals and Niners game next week, and we'll talk about their schedule as well. Same thing with ASU. We'll talk about their schedule next week, next Friday. If the Suns improve or if they get worse, we'll still talk about the Suns next week. Maybe Jimmy Butler will be traded here by then. We'll find out. And, of course, if the Diamondbacks make any moves or any changes regarding their team, I will update you guys on that. But once again, guys, thank you for coming to episode 25 of the AZ Sports Zone. We will be back at it next Friday. Next Friday, the time is to be determined. We will see what time I will go live again. But once again, guys, appreciate you guys for coming by on episode 25 of the AZ Sports Zone, your direct feed for all that sports. Of course, I'm your host, Alden K. We'll be back at it next Friday for Arizona Sports. So with that being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Best of luck to your guys' teams. And if your teams make it to the playoffs, good luck to them unless you're a Rams fan. But with that being said, guys, see you guys next Friday, and I'm out.